Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Rubar,
Aye, here.
Commissioner Flowers, present. Commissioner Torgerson, Commissioner Hector, Commissioner Leo,
Here.
Commissioner Horn, Commissioner DeBrow.
Here.
Okay, is there any changes or amendments to the proposed agenda? Okay, hearing or seeing none, we will move to the approval of minutes of the meeting on May 25th. And do I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So moved.
You gotta approve the agenda.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, we forgot to approve the agenda. That's my error. All those in approval of the agenda, signify by saying, do we have to have a roll call? We have to have a motion, yeah, that's true. Yeah. And motion? Second?
I second.
Okay, good. We have 2 seconds. So. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes are, the agenda is approved as presented. Okay, approval of minutes. I need a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Move, the minutes have been approved as presented. Okay. New business. Tonight we'll be having a public hearing to consider the recommendation of City Council regarding Diamondhead's comprehensive plan. Presentation by Robert Barker, who will be coming on the screen there. With Oren Planning, will be making a presentation to us. Without further ado, Bob, are you there?
I am, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me and see?
We can hear you.
Right. I hopefully,
Can you hold a second, Bob?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me? You need to turn up a little bit. Can you put your mic closer to the speaker of the phone? Just grab one of your mics. We okay?
Good job. Thank you, Mike.
All right. Very good.
That's our technology. Okay, go ahead, Bob. We're good to go now.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, thank you, and Commissioners, thank you. I'm not seeing you, but and I think I have my video screen muted right now so as not to distract from the subject at hand, which you have on your agenda as consideration of Envision Diamondhead 2040. Mr. Chairman, I'll handle this as you wish it to be handled. My plan was to give a high-level review of Envision Diamondhead 2040. That's probably a 15 to 20-minute process, and then perhaps enter in any discussion. There have been some feedback and comments on the review draft. I want to make those known and how they've been addressed, and then conclude. So if that is suitable, I'll proceed in that direction.
That's permissible. Go with that.
Thank you very much. I want to say that we're coming to the final steps of a planning process that and it's just been a very, very good process, particularly when you account for the fact that we had to conduct 3/4 of it in the middle of the pandemic. Diamondhead has been engaged in a way for the community size. The engagement has been superb, and we're really pleased and quite frankly proud to present the work to you. As you're looking at the work tonight, I always want to emphasize that this is really the community's work, and we're trying to facilitate a community planning process. So the work of the commission and the steering committee and all of those who have had input into the process. So Diamondhead 2040 is a comprehensive plan. It represents an update to your 2012 plan, which was created right after Diamondhead was incorporated, and we're updating that. Circumstances have changed. They've changed significantly. Prospects are different, and an update is in order. So you authorized that a year and a half ago. We presented, proposed a process which you agreed to pursue. And essentially what we have is a four-step planning process in which we assess the community in what a process we call discovery. We then engage in envisioning the community's future, so Diamondhead as you see it going forward. We plan that future in the design element of it, and then we determine how to implement the plan. So I'll review those quickly and somewhat briefly. The plan does begin with an explanation of what a comprehensive plan is. If a community in our state and in most states is going to engage in the activity you're engaged in tonight, which is regulating land use, it is to have a comprehensive plan, and your rules, your zoning code, other development codes are to be in compliance with and implement that plan. So we explain the statutory requirements, and then we go into the planning process, as I just mentioned. Discovery is the first step, and then the visioning step, and then the design and implementation, and then follow-up after that. So we've methodically moved through that process. We've been informed by the prior plans in Diamondhead. There are several, beginning with the 2012 comp plan. There's other plans associated with economic development and environmental matters and traffic studies, and all of that we reviewed and wanted to use to inform the plan, so that we're not reinventing the wheel, but we're adding to or learning from the work you've already done. There is a historic overview. We want to set the community in the context of its history. And I get a little wonky on this. Diamondhead has a really interesting and unique history. It's like no other community anywhere around you. And some of the features of Diamondhead are quite unique, and you know and love them well. And we touch on this in the historic context of the city. And after we move through setting that introductory information, we go into discovery. And this is a factual review of the city. And we want to establish a baseline for how to think about Diamondhead and establish a baseline from which to project and plan its future. So that discovery process begins with Diamondhead's environmental context. We do this at a high level, but it's an important review of the geography, which is certainly unique to the Gulf Coast, your floodplains, your wetlands. Sorry, let me get to the right slide. Hold on. We have an environmental, all those environmental factors are mapped. As you see here on page 19, we begin to get into some of the soils and where the floodplains are and where the high ground is. The impacts of stormwater in Diamondhead, which are significant, trees and tree canopy, were an important element of what we looked at, and all of that was reviewed and assessed in the environmental section. As we move on into the discovery, and certainly the coastal elements of sea level rise and your storm conditions that you deal with, all of those are assessed, and we get an understanding of those. So after we moved from the natural environmental elements of Diamondhead or context of Diamondhead, we began to study the development patterns. What is Diamondhead? How is it developed? Where are the community areas, the neighborhoods? What is their character, and so forth? And the map you should be seeing on the screen is an existing land use and development patterns. You'll recognize your city with the I-10 running through it, with the commercial area there in red at the interstate, and then the master plan itself, neighborhoods extending to the north and also to the south, to the waterfront. That gives us an opportunity to measure what land is developed, what land is vacant, what is the future build out of the community, meaning that if you were to develop as you are currently regulated or zoned, how would the community build out in the future? And that's what this chart indicates. There is some room for growth in Diamondhead, but we know that you have grown rapidly, and you're approaching, quite frankly, you're approaching build out from a residential standpoint. There's still lots of opportunity for on the land that you have zoned commercial there. So that's analyzed from a vacant map. Everything in the dark square there is a vacant piece of ground, potentially developed. The blue is constrained by environmental constraints. Also, in terms of when we note that the community is in some ways filling up, we begin to think about expansion. What would be appropriate expansion should Diamondhead expand in the future? And we have two areas identified here. One is directly to the north, and then the second area too is over by the I-10 exit over to the east side there. And we explore the potential for expansion in the future. That then is supplemented by a demographic and economic overview. I won't go into detail on this. This is very statistically driven. I'll summarize it it's certainly a summary to say that the city is growing. Obviously, it is projected to continue to grow. It is reasonably prosperous in the context of the Gulf Coast area, and we begin to view it with lots and lots of community development potential. Noting that the community is older in terms of median age, it's characterized by more than the average number of retirees in a Mississippi community. All that's explored, and the market segments are explored. And then we begin to look at the housing market, housing needs, what kind of diversity exists, what kind of diversity in the housing market is there potential. Again, very statistically driven, lots of facts and charts associated with that. But one key conclusion, not the only conclusion, but a key conclusion that we derive from the planning process is the fact that there is pent-up demand for retail and shopping in your commercial area. You're leaking dollars to other places, and we translate that ultimately into square footage of potential shopping areas in the community, and we'll see that design laid out in just a few moments. After that analysis, we looked at the existing mobility network. What is on the ground, where are the major routes. Diamondhead's circulation patterns and mobility system is relatively simple in terms of its layout. However, there are some key components that are issues to be addressed, which you're already addressing, and there's some really, really superior opportunities, particularly in the realm non-vehicular mobility. And when I say that, I mean walking paths, bike paths, that sort of thing, and we'll discuss that too. The community facilities are inventoried. We know that Diamondhead is a community of amenity, and the amenities between the POA and the waterfront and the rivers and the abundant recreational opportunities make it a community of amenities at its core. The other community facilities are inventoried. We get an understanding of how the city is served with city facilities and its public safety and parks and recreation, and then certainly the common areas, that the golf course and the other common areas, marina and so forth. So all of that forms the basis of the discovery section. From there, we are ready to engage the community, and we did that through a series of focus groups. We like this quote of Jane Jacobs here, famous city planner of the past. We want to engage as many people as we possibly can in the process. So the pandemic was unique because typically we're all hands on, but we had to shift this to a hybrid of hands on meetings on the ground, as well as building some web-based apps which allowed people to participate from their homes, and also when they did show up, when we did have a public meeting, they could give input through their cell phones rather than hovering over maps and breathing on each other during the height of the pandemic. These statistics are as of 3/27. Depending on how you count the numbers, we'll use the high side, getting up in the 42-50 range. People engaged in the process. That either means looking at the website, doing a survey, providing input in one of the community meetings, watching it on YouTube, all the things listed. It's a very high rate of participation, exceptionally high rate of participation. So from the inputs, and here's just a slice of it as when we had our planning week, where we gathered and got direct input on how to plan the community. What is the vision of Diamondhead going forward? We articulated it in the themes that you see on page 56, and you sort of ratified this or endorsed this. But the four key themes that emerged from our process was to preserve Diamondhead. That means its natural assets, the integrity of its amenities, honoring the unique heritage of the community, growing Diamondhead in a smart kind of way, walkable, mixed-use kind of way, connecting Diamondhead, speaking to the mobility aspects of the city, and then celebrating Diamondhead. How can we celebrate the community through improved aesthetics, sense of arrival when you come off the interstate? You're in a really quality space rather than just another interstate exit. Supporting community events, cultivating community life, all of that. So from that vision, we then move into planning the city itself. And when we go here, we begin to get down into a more specialized way of understanding the city. What is the ideal growth pattern of the city? And we divided it into types of places, and these are the headings of the types of places that are appropriate to Diamondhead. It's waterfront, it's in open spaces, it's residential neighborhoods, commercial centers, and in the special areas, which include a town waterfront, resort waterfront, and the rural areas, and in your technology and industry. This is based, I won't go into this, but it is based on a model called a transect. From these broad categories, we do pick out some focus areas and make some detailed designs to understand how the community would look and function going forward. This is a composite map of those types of places. So this is the whole thing, the entire city. Here's the place types down here, and this is how they're mapped. And I'll at the tail end, I'll explain why and how this is a useful tool for your planning. But for each of those place types, they're explained by what they're intended to be. So in this case, parks, open space, amenities, and natural waterfront. That's a type of place in the community. There's an explanation of the character of those places, how they're served by mobility, what appropriate land use would occur in that place type, and then, of course, there is an associated map. Where are the parks, open spaces, amenities, and natural waterfront? And that pattern repeats itself for every place type. And remember, this is responsive to that the Diamondhead vision of growing the city, preserving the city, celebrating the city, connecting the city. All of that is in mind when we lay these spaces out. And then, so that would be your parks, open spaces, amenities, and natural waterfront. Some work is being done, which we included in the plan, such as the planned Rotten Bayou access on Noma Drive, where you have work ongoing. We included in the plan because that'll have an influence on what happens in the future. In your residential neighborhoods, we call the core of the city, the original city, first Diamondhead neighborhoods. They're unique. They're planned in a style that was characteristic of their time in the early to mid-'70s. And they have a particular character, and there they are all in yellow on the map. After that, there are a couple of other kinds of residential neighborhoods, and those would be suburban neighborhoods and traditional neighborhoods, and we explain those and then map those out. Those are projected to occur mostly in the expansion area you'll see out here to the east. When we move into the commercial place types, there's a suburban development. This is kind of your more sprawly, kind of big box development, which has a place. And then there's suburban redevelopment. So we saw, and you saw, and you guided us to this conclusion, that the area around Aloha and right at the entryway there on Gex is in need and primed up for redevelopment. So suburban redevelopment would occur in a variety of ways, but one of the ways envisioned was to make redevelop these big parking lots and kind of expansive pieces of asphalt into a more walkable Main Street kind of environment, and we began to envision this in the plan in what we call the Aloha District, real prime opportunity, and we can connect this back to the retail space that we identified earlier in the plan, in the economic section. We know, we're confident there's demand for this, and when all the pieces fall in place, it's reasonable to expect and promote this kind of redevelopment in the suburban areas. And this is a planned view of the same thing, and of course you have some work that's going to begin on Aloha itself, and then the roundabout comes in, and you have the makings of a true downtown rather than just kind of a sprawl spot. Town center mixed use. This was one of the early parts of the plan. taking a look at this town center area, creating a mixed-use district. So this is greenfield development, meaning new development. Mostly, there's some redevelopment associated with it, and so that would be projected to generate town center type development. Suburban centers. This is mostly associated with the expansion areas around the interstate, and then out the back door there. Finally, on the place types, we dealt with the town waterfront, which that turned out to be a focus area, this being the town waterfront around the marina area, and began to envision how that would develop and could work, and how that should be coded and promoted for development going forward. The town waterfront concept, that's in your plan. And then the resort waterfront being that area over here to the east, with potentially resort activities of various sorts, lodging, casino has been discussed, and that being the resort waterfront. I think it concludes with technology and industry. This is the area around the airport, which is zoned for that activity now, and then we identified an area over here in expansion for potential technology type development in the future. The last couple of elements are the rural reserve. There was a big space in here in the expansion area that's a question mark. That's sort of held as a reserve to be determined. If and when the city expands, how might this develop? It would be a question. So it's held as a rural reserve. Under the category of connecting Diamondhead, and this will have lots of detail associated with it, but the connecting Diamondhead sets forth a series of multimodal paths, bike trails, connecting the existing Diamondhead to the town waterfront by means of trail, golf trails, all of these sorts of things, and how the trails would interact with over on the riverside. There's some visualizations there, and there's abundant opportunity also, including the Blue Way as access, a mobility element for Diamondhead. Rolling on through community facilities, we identified some demand for potential future parks, and then move into the and other community facilities as well. This is an element that will be determined when there's more detailed park planning done, perhaps in the future. I'll conclude, Mr. Chairman, with the implementation section. All of that is well and good, but unless the plan is implemented, we just had a nice exercise with one another, and we hadn't done much. So the plan implementation element, I'll go right to the matrix. It's underscored, or I guess I should say expressed by this implementation matrix. And all the elements here, there's a strategy or an action expressed. It's a one of three types, because a plan is only going to be really implemented under one of three categories. It's you're either going to have a policy, you're going to have a project, or you're going to manage the process in a particular way. So that's set out where it appears in the plan, how it's prioritized, what's an expected outcome, and the time frame on it. Is there a cost element to it, and then a way to keep up with its status? It's a pretty intense kind of implementation matrix. And the matrix is also tied to those planning themes I mentioned earlier. So you'll see preserving Diamondhead. That's the vision that the community developed, and so these are the strategies if we're going to honor unique community development history and heritage, here are the strategies that we would want to pursue. And without going into detail on each of those 40 or so strategies, let me summarize them by saying lots of these, I'm going to say 40% probably, can be achieved by rewriting the zoning code or aligning the zoning code to envision Diamondhead 2040. Things like low impact design that needs to be pulled in, the zones need to be adjusted to the place types that are expressed in the plan, other elements like that. Then some of these are projects, and some of them have already been achieved along the way. For instance, establishing this mixed-use district, the commission approved this some time back. I can't remember exactly when, may have been this time last year. And we got a green check mark, it's done. Aloha Drive, there's some design work going on there. The gratifying thing about Diamondhead is the effectiveness with which you make things happen. It's impressive to see things roll out of a plan and the community have the ability to make things happen and manage this process well. So hats off to everyone in the community and all your staff. It's very good. So the implementation element is there. The plan concludes. Again, I won't go into all of this detail here. You've got access to that. But the strategies are meant to implement the Diamondhead Envision 2040 vision. So having said all that, and I probably went over my time, and thank you for your patience. Let me say this: that a plan is a plan. It's adjustable. It does not have the force of law. It's not a zoning code, but it is intended to guide policy and motivate action, which, as I mentioned, it's already done some of both of those things, and hopefully will continue to. Once so the plan is presented, we presented it in a public meeting in April. I think not all of you were there. Community, Diamondhead had an opportunity to comment on it. We did receive several comments, and we've adjusted the plan to account for some of the comments. And now it's before you. It requires the Planning Commission's recommendation to send it to the City Council, and I believe that's the requested action before you. Mr. Chairman, if you'll permit me just one more minute, I want to acknowledge the community comments that we got, and I'm going to pull those up here and hopefully share my screen again. Let me find my screen share here. Just so you'll be aware that every comment we share screen. Every comment, community comment we got, we addressed. So there was a comment. I think I saw an email today. I did see an email today about this thing about the covenants. We changed the language there because it was interpreted in a way that we didn't intend. We were simply suggesting that Florida had an experience with expiring covenants, and there was state law which permitted associations to, if they voted to do it, could reinstate their covenants. And we suggested that perhaps that might be a strategy to explore because of the issue that's before the community. But in any case, it was too open to misinterpretation. So we adjusted that to just say assess and plan for multiple scenarios related to expiring covenants and amenity preservation. Left it at that. We did add a strategy here on increasing the tree canopy. Some of the strategy, some of the comments, we did feel we had already were addressed in the plan. And so my basic point is here, I just want you to know that the comments are down the left-hand side. The way that we addressed them are down the right-hand side. And we read them all, and they were very good, and they were very much appreciated in this planning process. So with that, turn my camera on, and maybe you can see me. I guess I should have said where I am tonight. I'm in St. Louis. My schedule's conflicted, but we wanted to get the plan before the commission, Mr. Chairman, and I guess it's time for me to stop and hear questions, discussions, comments, and go from there.
Okay, thank you, Bob. At this point, should we have the recommendations from the staff?
I think it'd probably be appropriate, Mr. Chairman, if we open it up to the public to comment, ask questions, et cetera. Not necessarily people that have signed up,
Right.
but those that want to do that,
Okay,
with your permission.
If you have a public want to address the presentation or have questions, you can come up to the podium, okay, and state your name and your address, and so we'll be happy to have that. Just raise your hand and I'll call on you, and so we'll have a little bit of an orderly process. Would anybody like to make a public comment on the presentation? Yes, sir?
I didn't come here to do this, but I've been following this meeting by meeting, and I feel like this plan is a wonderful thing for Diamondhead. A wonderful thing in the fact that they are preserving everything that Diamondhead stands for. I'm a runner and a biker and a kayaker, and I see these things being implemented into this plan. It's not just putting up restaurants and parking lots. So I just want to comment on that. This is a good thing for us as far as being able to be mobile. Our weather is wonderful. Our streets are great. I still have Diamondhead Drive East to contend with because I do the golf cart a lot, and I'd like to be able to get to Veterans Drive and get to the shopping area, so consider that.
Sir, could you state your name and address just so we have that, because this is a public hearing.
I'm sorry. I'm Dan Saliga. I live on Diamondhead Drive North and West, wherever you happen to be. And 96-498 Diamondhead Drive West.
Okay. You got that, Sammy? Okay. Good.
Thank
All right.
you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mike?
Michael Riso, City Manager, live at 9810 Kamuki Court. First of all, I want to commend Bob and Orion Planning for the work they've done over the last year. I'd also like to congratulate you, the Planning Commission, as well as our City Council for taking this step. It's critical for a city. I've mentioned many times that I look at the comprehensive plan as a business plan or a vision statement like any business would run. You're trying to say where do you want to go and how are you going to get there, and then you go implement the plan. And when I interviewed Bob and the other urban planners to do this, one of the critical things I said is you have to engage the community. And I think Bob and his team have done a fantastic job at that. And I think you guys can sit back and also say that y'all haven't been influenced or had any critical part of that, but it's really been these guys that have commented, and they've just put into text in 134 pages a great vision for our community, from saving trees to environmental to growing our commercial district and having other variety of housing as well. But I just want to thank our community. Without it, we would not have gotten this far. Bob commented on implementation. Those are already check marks because we have started part of that. The Diamondhead Drive loop, especially Diamondhead Drive West, has a multimodal lane on it that's protected so that you can run, walk, cart in a safe environment on a one-lane road by Diamondhead Drive East, Dan. That has been a necessity for a long time. But again, just want to thank the community and thank you guys for this step. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else would like to address the commission? Okay. Now we can have our,
Commissioners have any questions?
yeah, we'll get there. Okay, just,
Okay.
okay. Okay, so there's no other comments from the public. Want to make sure. Okay, everybody has an opportunity. Okay, do any of the commissioners have any comments or questions? Or suggestions? No? Okay, very good. Mr. Jones, you're on.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Ronald Jones. I'll just make a few brief statements. Envision 2040 is a truly visionary and futuristic plan. When implemented, Diamondhead will truly be an extraordinary place to live, work, and enjoy its recreational opportunities. Like in the movie Field of Dreams, starring Kevin Costner. Remember that? In Iowa, he built a baseball field, and so that's my thought. If you build it, they will come. Because when an area has a market and they have the statistics to support whether it's residential or commercial ventures, they will come despite any type of development constraints, because the market is there for them to make money, to be profitable. And in my opinion, we're on the verge of seeing that happen in Diamondhead. And so, when implemented, it would totally change the face of Diamondhead, having a very viable town district and to build upon its current assets. The implementation of this plan will not happen overnight. It will take some time. But what will happen is synergy will be created. And synergy is 1 + 1 = 3. And so you have a spark over here and a spark over there, and then there's excitement, there's opportunity. People begin to say, where can I fit in to this growing community? And so that's what I'm talking about, synergy. And that, and the more we grow and be progressive, that it will happen. And that Diamondhead will be a city to be envied on the Gulf Coast. And so my recommendation is the Planning Commission recommend to the Mayor and City Council to adopt Envision Diamondhead 24, and to immediately begin to follow and implement the plan each year by allocating the necessary resources for specific projects in the budget. Now, Diamondhead has already been proactive, and the decision makers are beginning to already implement things, because some of the things doesn't really make a lot of resources. You don't need spend a lot of money to make things happen. And so the city's in a position already beginning to do that. And that greatly encourages me to see that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Okay, now we would need a motion to consider the recommendation made by staff. And do I have said motion? So moved, okay. I need a second. Second. Thank you, Commissioner Ladle. Okay, it's been moved and seconded, so now it is open for question and discussion. Commissioners, it's your opportunity to have questions or discussions on it. Okay, I have one from the public, which I would like to simply express, okay? It's more of a item of concern, okay? And it's, should I say who this is from? Okay. Mindy Burnell, who lives at 5423 Keiki Drive. And because the only concern was in the downtown area, Bob's what I'm talking about. Her concern is she came from a city where they developed a similar downtown plan. She was concerned about the second and third levels over the commercial area, what their use should be, whether it be office space or residential. Her concern was sometimes when it turns to residential, there can be problems with that, associated with that. So that's simply a concern she wanted to make everyone aware of, okay, because of her prior experience. That's all. Otherwise, any other comments? My only statement, oh, go ahead, Patrick.
Excuse me, I failed to mention this earlier. I do have a letter here to read into
Absolutely.
the record,
Would
if
you-
you don't mind. Thank you.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
This letter is from Miss Margaret Dutton at 7954 Hapuna Place in Diamondhead. Dear Planning and Zoning Commissioners, I cannot attend the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting and public hearing on the new comprehensive plan, so I would appreciate it if you would include my written comments in the record. The latest comprehensive plan draft is excellent in my view, and I am grateful for all the public input and planners' work that has gone into it. I do object, however, to one policy or action, number 18 in the implementation section, stating that as one option, the city explore means of reviewing association covenants. The covenants are a contract between the developer and buyers of real property in Diamondhead. I'm not sure what the legal implications are if a city attempts to forge a means by which a private contract, now managed by a corporation that is not a party to the contract, gets renewed, thus putting citizens' property and pocketbooks back under the control of the private corporation, although their original agreement has terminated. But it is certain that the legal and community implications would be to cost citizens more money and the community more division if such an implementation is pursued. I believe Diamondhead would be better off without it included in the plan. Sincerely yours, Margaret L. Dutton.
And please make sure that's submitted to Tammy so we have it for the record, okay? Bob?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
We did address that, and that was the element I was speaking to just a moment ago. We had that public comment, we adjusted the language so that it was, we adjusted it in the manner I read just a moment ago to address that concern.
Right.
Correct, yes, I recall your comments on that. Okay, thank you. My own view on this plan is that I've been involved with some of the discussion groups, and I was pretty impressed with the discussion and input from the citizens. I said little, I was there more to observe because I wanted to hear their thoughts, not mine. And I think most of those comments are already reflected in the plan, so I think that's remarkable to Bob and his group, the Orion Group, and the cooperation from the citizens and the city government, I think has been remarkable. No plan is perfect, but as Bob said, it's a plan, and we should go forth from here and see the city develop. I think we have a wonderful opportunity to guide the development of the city. Any other comments from anyone?
Can I just make one comment? And Bob hit on this. While this comprehensive plan will not have the force of law, it will be something that will guide you all in the decisions that you guys render moving forward. It's something that applicants for different applications before you all can rely on and look to and point to and say, hey, this is what the city wants. And so I encourage you all, as we move forward, to keep this in your thoughts and minds as you guys make your decisions moving forward. And while it doesn't carry the force of law, it is required that the city have one by statute, and it's required that the city update them periodically, 5 to 7 years. Our first one was enacted, I think, in 12 or 13. So we're right at, we're a little bit outside of that period, but the work that's been done, the resident input, this will act as a guide as we move forward for the next 25 plus years. And as we move, we'll have an opportunity to amend it again as things change. So, but I just wanted to make those comments.
Thank you. Okay, I just have one request. If this is possible, I'd like to have each one of the commissioners have a copy of the plan, okay? If you could make sure we all have a copy of it, because we'll be referring to it in the future as we go along, and we'll need that. I don't know if my printer at home will stand printing it all out. It will probably blow a fuse.
We'll take care of that, Mr.
Thank you so much, Pat. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We'll have a roll call vote to approve the plan or to not approve the plan, whichever your vote is. Yes, we have to and this is to make the recommendation to accept the plan and recommend that the city council approve the plan. Okay.
Commissioner Flowers? Aye. Commissioner Hector? Aye. Commissioner Horn? Commissioner Lael? Aye. Commissioner Culberson? Commissioner DeBrau?
Aye.
Chairman Ruble?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. Again, I can't really say enough good things about the engagement of the community, about the commission's oversight of what's happening here, and we thoroughly enjoyed the process, and we look forward to presenting it to council and with the able staff that you have. We look forward to moving the process forward.
I would like to join with Mr. Rizzo in congratulating you on a job well done and the remarkable job you did with getting the community involved. Considering the pandemic was going on at that time was remarkable. So I want to thank you and your staff and all the professionals that helped you do this, bring this to a conclusion for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob.
I'll hang up, unless you need me, I'll hang up now, and I look forward to seeing council next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving to the fourth item on the agenda regarding the Diamondhead Community Planning, or Community Church, request. Okay. Do we have a staff report on it? Okay.
All right, the Diamondhead Community Church, represented by Mr. Bob Chalmers, who's in the audience tonight, filed an application requesting a variance from the zoning ordinance to place a directional sign at the intersection of Noma Drive and Oak Park Drive that has a copy area of 12 square feet. The maximum copy area allowed by ordinance is 6 square feet. The variance requested is 6 square feet. The property is located at 5301 Diamondhead Circle. The tax parcel is number 1232A-2-03-027.000. The legal description is point northeast, 1/4 section 3-8.14. The property is located in a PFR, Public Facilities and Recreation Zoning District. Maximum copy area is 6 feet. The case number is 2021-00177. So how we got here? The church came to us, Mr. Chalmers came to us and said that he had wanted to put entrance sign up because the entrance to the church is in the back of the church. And it's on, that's the Oak Park Drive there. And it's in the back of the church. So they wanted to put something at that corner of Noma Drive and Oak Park Drive to direct people how to get into the parking lot of the church, okay? A directional sign. A directional sign can be 6 square feet, okay? But they had one that was already made up that was 12 square feet. Now, the way they came to that conclusion was they went over to our new signs, the city signs, and measured them and had a sign made. Unfortunately, or fortunately for the city, unfortunately for the church, the city is exempt from the sign ordinance and all ordinances for that matter. Okay, so using that as a guide was not a wise choice. So therefore, they said, we've already purchased this. We want to have it 12 foot and put it there. So therefore, they filed the variance for that request. So prior to giving the staff report, if you want to have the applicant come up, etc.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, sir? Make sure you state your name and your address. Thank you for being patient through all the presentation.
It's fine. I'm used to it. I used to work for the Planning Commission back in Charlotte, North Carolina. Big boards. My name is Bob Chalmers. Actually, it's Robert Chalmers, but for the sake of tonight, it's Bob Chalmers. I represent Diamondhead Community Church. We are right across the street. And I am newly elected to the session, as in an elder. And one of the first things that I was hit with was we needed some directional signs, that some members of the church had observed people trying to get to the church, not on Sunday, and tried to find the entrance and made 3 or 4 passes around the entire area and never could find it, and somebody finally had to show them where it was. Based on that, the session met and said, yes, we need new signs. So there were 3 or 4 of us that got together. We came over and we measured the brand new signs that the city erected immediately across from the church. Seeing that sign and measuring the sign, we came up with the hypothesis that that sign was legal, and we proceeded. We made the signs. They've been bought, they've been paid for, and they've been assembled waiting for a permit. However, originally we weren't going to get a permit. We were just going to go out and put the signs up. I knew something about law and order. I made a bad mistake. And it was pointed to me by an attorney in the church, said, what you should have done was put the signs up and then ask for forgiveness. It's an old Navy thing, it's an old Air Force thing. You do it and then you take the slap on the wrist. Well, here we are. And I printed off the part about signs from the ordinance. I did not print off the entire ordinance. But the parts that I did read and the parts that an attorney read did not see where the city had carte blanche, that they could do anything they wanted to, but everybody else had to follow the law. So, we are here. We are asking for a variance.
Okay. Thank you, sir. No comment? Yes. Are there any comments from the public? Oh, we have, yes. Thank you, Pat. Hi, stranger.
Hello.
The reason I say that is we got our house most flooded during the last
Exactly.
Claudette, and I was like, wait a minute, it looks awfully familiar. It's like, sorry.
Well,
Chair taking liberty. I
I'll show
apologize.
you who I am first. I'm
Yes.
Greg Cullum. I live at 6413. I say Apalahama. Some people say Apilihama Road here in Diamondhead. I'm also a member of Diamondhead Community Church. I also serve on the session on the Finance Committee. And I'm here just really, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to the commission for your service and the value that you add to us as not only individual residents of here in Diamondhead, but also as Diamondhead as a community and the work that went into what we've all been through here in the last year or so. But with that being said, there's really nothing more than say than I, as a believer, am asking for mercy and grace. Grace, grace.
Are you sure you're
So,
not Catholic?
I mean,
And
it's
that's
already
coming
been
from a
said.
Catholic, so I'm just asking if you want
Right.
forgiveness.
So, because everything's already been said, so at the end of the day, we just ask for your consideration, and we humbly come before you asking for mercy and grace on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. That was very good. Okay, let's see. Skip Griffin?
Hello, Giffen, or most people know me by Skip Giffen, 944 Colo Way, Diamondhead. I'm a senior warden at St. Thomas Church, and I'm here to discuss the request for the sign. And I don't agree. I think that the 6 feet that's in the city ordinance is adequate for a sign. And I don't agree with the 12-foot sign, 12-foot square sign. You know, I don't agree with it. I think it's too big. It's also next to City Hall. So that sign's going to be right up there with people coming and going for City Hall to see, whether they like it or not. And because I don't care for it, and I think it's bad, I think it'll hurt my property value. I think it'll hurt the church's property value. So for those reasons, I would ask that you deny it. You know, I think that their 6 square feet is ample for them to have a sign. I don't know, I guess they got a pig in a poke or something, but every time I turn around, I'm hearing things that are asking St. Thomas Episcopal Church to do this, to do that. First thing they wanted to scoot across our property at the corner, which Rector at the time, Father Reverend White, said okay, and you know he talked to the vestry, which is our governing body, and I'm the senior warden, which I'm on the vestry too. I'm on the current vestry. I was on the vestry then too, but he said it was okay. That was the first thing, and now this thing with the sign. I don't know what's next, but at any rate, it seems to be one request after another to me, and I think that 6 feet for the sign, it should be adequate. They should go by the law and build a 6-foot sign, not a 12-foot sign. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next, Penny. Oh, you're talking about something else? Yes, you are. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. We need a motion to, oh, Pat's got a question? Oh, recommendation. Oh, I thought we already had that. Oh, what was that first thing then?
It was just setting it up, teeing it up.
Just setting me up.
Yeah, teeing it up.
I see. Uh-huh.
I'm here to support you.
We've heard that before.
Yes. Okay. As you know, there's certain criteria for us to approve a variance. And basically, it goes upon hardship. So in reviewing this, we found that there were no special conditions or circumstances regarding the property that would require a 6-foot variance, a 6 square foot variance. That there are no other properties in the same zoning district that have been granted this variance. Special conditions and circumstances were caused by the applicant. The granting of the variance will incur upon them special privileges that aren't granted to other property owners or buildings in the same district. It does not observe the spirit of the ordinance, but it would not change the character of the district. Does not observe the spirit of the comprehensive plan, and it won't change any result in density at all. So, and we'd like to note again that the governmental signs are exempt from the sign ordinance. So, based upon the fact that there was no hardship there, money is not a hardship. Purchasing materials and et cetera for a sign is not, it's noted in the ordinance, is not a hardship. So the staff recommends to deny the application.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is the variance only for one sign or is it for several signs?
Only one sign was requested.
Okay. That's it.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Yes.
In B, you noted that no other properties had been granted this variance. How many other properties have asked for this variance?
I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, none. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Okay. The staff report has been made. We need a motion to accept the staff report as a form of a motion. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the staff report.
Is there a second? Been moved and seconded. Any discussion from the commissioners or comments? Commissioner
I
Leal?
just have this vision of all of these huge signs around this circle. You know, if everybody did that, it would not look very, very nice.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. This puts me in a difficult position, doesn't it? Yeah, that's why we get paid the big bucks, right, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And just so everybody knows, because this is our first variance that we do have up tonight, this body will make a recommendation to the city council. It is a recommendation. The city council ultimately makes the final decision, and that will be made at the next city council meeting on July 6th. But this is, so their motion here would be to make a recommendation.
Okay. And keep in mind that this commission must follow the law, okay? So our hands are relatively tied, and city council can change the ordinance or change the law. We, however, do not have the authority, okay? We are not elected, we are appointed, okay? So, just so you know, okay? All right. I'd like to have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Flowers? Aye. Commissioner Hector?
Aye.
Commissioner Horn? Commissioner Lael? Aye. Commissioner Torgerson? Commissioner Bauer? Oh, I'm sorry. DeVral? I'm sorry.
That was 2 months ago, remember?
Chairman Rubar?
Aye. Okay. Motion is passed. Okay, the next item on the agenda regarding Philip Sutton has filed for an application requesting the variance of zoning, Article 9.8J, to construct a 6-foot wood privacy fence starting at 8.5 feet from the southwest corner of the house, continuing towards Pokai Street for 24 feet, and then continuing along Pokai Street for 48 feet. This is a corner lot with 2 front setbacks and 2 front facades. The ordinance states a privacy fence cannot be extended beyond the front facade of the house. The variance requests an 8.5 feet from the front facade in the southwest corner and 24 feet towards the Pokai Street. Pokai Street. The property address is 97440 and Diamondhead Drive West. The tax parcel is 067K-1-36-0567.000. The legal description is Diamondhead Subdivision Phase 2, Block 4A, Block 5, Lots 5 and 6. The property is located at R2 zoning district. The fence is required to set back 20 feet from the property line, but may not be closer than the facade of the house. Okay. Do we have a staff report on this or recommendation?
Go ahead and do the staff report now.
Okay.
Okay, as was stated in here, this is one of those corner lot situations where we have 2 front yard setbacks, we have 2 front facades. Okay, so as pictured in your diagram, I've shown on there what the allowed portion is, and the allowed portion is coming off the southeast corner facing Pokai Street, coming off that corner and going parallel back to the property line. And what was asked for is the 8.5 feet, starting the fence 8.5 feet going towards Diamondhead Drive West, extending 24 feet towards Pokai Street, and then 48 feet back towards the back of the property line. I assume they didn't want to go back to the entire property line. In talking with the applicant, he said it was kind of wooded back there and he didn't feel like he needed a fence, etc. So, I believe what he said was to enjoy the use of his backyard. Also, he's got a small child and a pet dog, so to protect them, since he is living on 2 streets there. Was what it was. But when you get to the ordinance states, of course, that you've got to work from the front facade and you can't have it in the front yard. Well, he's got 2 front yards there, all right? So the ordinance doesn't allow him to do what he asked to do, all right? So therefore the variance. But in studying this, there are really no special circumstances regarding the property. Although it is a corner lot, there are a lot of corner lots in the city of Diamondhead. So there's nothing special about this particular property that would differentiate between any other property on a corner lot in Diamondhead. There are no, to my knowledge, there are no other properties in the same district that have been granted this variance. I know we have granted some, but not this much, okay? I'm familiar with one we granted a couple of months ago, all right? But did not go to the extent of what was asked for here. There are no special conditions that were a result of the applicant. It's just the way the house is, etc. So, if we grant this variance, it will confer upon him something that the other properties don't get, other corner lots don't get. So it'd be it would be something special for him that we're denying to others, okay? The variance will not represent the minimum variance. We could go with what the proposed or what is allowed today, okay? That would be, and you wouldn't need a variance for that. That would fence in, that would serve the objective now. And what he's asking to do is get more backyard and less front yard, okay? It doesn't observe the spirit of the ordinance, and it would kind of change the character of corner lots in the area. It's not in the spirit of the comprehensive plan, and it wouldn't change any use and density and all that. Now, having said all that, looking at it from a hardship perspective, we can find no hardship here that we're aware of. So the staff's recommendation is to deny the variance as petitioned. Questions?
Commissioners, any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Pat. Okay, comments from the public? Miss Penny? Oh, another one? Okay. Because all it said was residential variance, so I didn't know what that was. Oh, okay. Oh, the applicant have any thing they'd like to present? What is your name, please? State your name and address, please.
How you doing? I'm Philip Sutton. I live at 97440 Diamondhead Drive West. The really only thing that I would like to say is that the reason for my fence is security for my family. So I have 2 dogs and a 2-year-old daughter, and we live on that corner lot, which we get a lot of traffic. One of those streets are a main street. So if the current ordinance allows me to go off of the southeast corner of my house and go straight back, it's cutting off almost my entire backyard and leaving me just a side yard. So what I would like, if I can't have the 24 feet towards Pokai and then a 48 going down, then what would be acceptable in that sense?
That would be something you would have to discuss with staff, okay? We're not qualified to make those decisions.
Okay.
I'd have to go out and look at it with the staff member and with the ordinance in hand to make sure we don't tell you to do something.
Yes, sir.
Then you go back and say, well, you told me to do this, okay? But let me say this, corner lots are always a challenge, and we have these requests come quite often to us because of the same thing you're talking about, security, et cetera. I would suggest that you meet with the building staff, okay, building administration, so they can be to work with him to see if there's anything possible, okay? It's a difficult scenario because I know everybody loves to live in a corner lot. However, there's a lot of restrictions that go with a corner lot because you said it perfectly. You have 2 front yards, okay? And having raised children myself and having a dog, I know the circumstance you're under and what you're trying to do is just ensure safety.
Correct.
Okay, and we've had several different requests come for variances on the same thing, okay? And they wanted to go in front of the facade of the house. But of course, unfortunately, you have 2 fronts besides their house, and that becomes problematic. I think you're gonna be somewhat limited what we can approve. So that would be my suggestion,
Yes, sir.
okay? But that's totally up to you, okay? Because the commission would like to work with any we possibly can with the community, but we also have to preserve the character of the community, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I'll be happy to talk to you after the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Any questions, comments? Okay, we're now in the need to hear the staff recommendation. That's gonna be the staff recommendation? So why did we have 2 the last time? Well, we'll talk after the meeting on that. All right, okay, I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, could you give us a moment to consult real quick?
Need a sidebar here.
If we
Chair
can
grants a sidebar.
If we can resolve this right here,
That would be wonderful.
thank you.
Hmm? Never back. See me over there. It's not gonna be fun without my iPad, because they still just, it's not much of a change from what they presented, unfortunately. Did they give a plot plan to that?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
could we call Mr. Sutton back up and have him at the podium and talk with him, please?
Sir, would you come back up, please?
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was your name again, please?
Sutton.
Philip?
Okay. What would you like? You've told us what you like. What
Yes,
would
sir.
you settle for?
Um,
I mean, we're trying to work with you.
yes, I
Okay.
understand. The 24-foot facing or going towards Pokai.
Right?
I can cut back on that.
Okay.
The distance, the 48 feet going back towards the property line,
Yes.
that again, I have brush on Pokai Street.
Yes.
That is fine. I think just a fence to go towards, there's a big ditch back there. It's also
Yes.
wooded.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. And then also, I don't know if this would help in distance as well. Instead of having the fence come directly straight headed towards Pokai, maybe put an angle on it. I don't know if that helps as far as distance.
Okay, do you want to start at the back corner? Start at back corner and come out at an angle?
If we can do that, yes. The reason why I asked for the 8.5 foot in front is my daughter's bedroom window is right there on the corner. So I would like it to be right in front of her window.
Okay. 24 feet right there. Okay.
I took my packet, moved it back.
Mhm.
Oh, this is it? Okay.
What if we take that point to have your daughter's bedroom
Okay.
window behind the fence, okay?
Yes, sir.
So we work on that eight and a half feet there.
Okay.
Okay? Instead of 24 feet, would you settle for 11 feet? Because we have approved something like that before. Yeah, the city council has approved, right.
Okay. Can I come off 11 and then hit like a 45-degree angle and go back?
So you
Or
wanna
is
come-
11?
You want to come out 11 and no?
If 11 is all I can do, then okay.
Okay. That will give you 11 more feet than what the ordinance says.
Is allowed.
Right.
Understood.
Okay. All right. Then the staff would like to change his recommendation to come out 8.5 feet from that corner, then 11 feet to Pokai Street, and then 45 feet towards the back property line.
Can you please show us on the drawing so we know what we're approving?
Yes.
Can you stay right there? If you don't mind.
No.
Ladies?
Okay. Instead of 24 feet, he wants to come, we're going to come out 11 feet.
How much, okay, so where's the
Here's
streets here?
Pokai
There's
Street,
Pokai.
and there's Diamondhead Drive.
Okay. these are Pokai.
See, this house is situated so far over here.
Yeah, I see that.
Strange.
Just at 11 to cut that distance to 11 feet and still go 48 feet that way. Yep, and it's got to go
You come out 11
even with
Okay.
and then he comes back this way.
Is this where the daughter's window is?
Yes.
It's within the 8.5 feet.
Yes, it's when the daughter's window's right here. So you come out, instead of 24, we come out 11 feet. We give them 8.5 feet here, 11 feet there, and then the 48 feet, or however, 40. He can go all the way back as far as he
Right,
wants to.
yeah.
So this is not a problem,
No,
this part is not
this
a
part
problem?
is not.
It's a
problem.
very treed lot. It's
Here's
very pretty.
Here's
Okay.
the variance portion right here.
Okay.
8.5 feet.
Do they own these two lots as well?
Yes,
Yes,
All four lots?
no, they own those two.
These two?
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, okay. All right.
yes. He owns both lots.
Okay, well, because I was gonna say, well, you can't go into somebody else's lot.
It's a beautiful piece of property.
It is beautiful.
Home. He's updated
Want a trade?
it. He's done it's just this 2, 3 corner lot.
Oh, I know. But you know,
We
also
have to
this,
retain
the
that.
visibility is great too. By putting it
Yeah,
back
even though
there.
you could, if you're gonna get back by 11, you're not gonna have a visibility problem.
Nope.
And we granted the other one pretty much the same thing, because remember they had a porch here, and we granted that.
So, okay, back on record.
You're back, okay, we're back on the record, yes.
We're back live.
We're back live, yes. We just had to make sure we understood what we were approving or not approving.
All right,
Okay.
so,
The new recommendation of the staff is,
to allow him to go 8.5 feet from the southeast property line towards Diamondhead Drive West, start his fence there, go out 11 feet from that point to Pocock Street, and then he can go all the way back to his property line as far as he wants to go. So, okay, so we're granting him a variance of 8.5 feet from the southeast property line.
from the corner.
Yes,
from the
yes,
corner of the house.
southeast corner of the house.
Right.
Yes.
And
And
11 feet.
11 feet towards Pocock Street.
Right, Pocock Street, correct. All right,
That's acceptable.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
And that's the recommendation that is before you all then.
right.
Right.
All right.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept the staff motion as presented, or the recommendation as presented?
As modified.
And as modified, yes. Do we have a second? Second. All right, roll call vote.
Any discussion of motion?
Oh, yeah, is there any discussion, further discussion, commissioners? No? Okay. I think we've talked this ad nauseam, so we're ready to roll.
I thought you had, I just wanted to make sure.
Commissioner Flowers. Aye. Commissioner Hector. Aye. Commissioner Horn. Commissioner Whale. Aye. Commissioner Torgerson. Commissioner DeVal. Aye. Chairman Rubar.
Aye. Okay, there you go.
And again, that's a recommendation. City Council on July 6th will make the final determination.
They make
So
the final decision.
don't build yet.
Okay.
Please.
Philip, they make the final decision. We just make the recommendation. Okay, as we said earlier. Okay, number 6, up for a repeat appearance. Timothy and Gina Stockstill, have applied for an application requesting a variance from the zoning ordinance articles 4.6.5 E III to allow the construction of a screened enclosure on the existing deck, which is 4 feet 4 inches from the rear property line. The rear side yard setback is a minimum of 20 feet. The variance requested is 17 feet 8 inches. Their property address is 689 Oahu Street. The tax parcel is number 067Q-0-36-900.000. The legal description is Diamondhead Subdivision Phase 2, Unit 3, Block 5, Lot 63, and a portion of Lot 64. The property is located in R2 zoning district, and the case file number is 202-100-165.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to correct the variance request. It is actually 15 feet 8 inches, not 17 feet 8 inches.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's okay. We'd like to hear the recommendations of staff.
This is only Mr. Rich's, third or fourth month doing this, so bear with him, y'all.
I love the wonderful
We will give
support
you
I
our
get out of legal
indulgence.
counsel here. Okay, this has been before the council before. It was withdrawn and modified and brought back to the council again. So I have included in your packet pictures of what was asked for. The maximum that was asked for was 44 feet by 18 feet, okay, is what I put in the variance application. So that would put it 4 feet, 4 inches from the property line. Screened enclosure for the spa, tub, and the deck area there. Okay, so as you know, that's a 20 backyard setback is 20 feet. Okay, and as you also know, that's a lot that's built towards, I mean, that's a house that is built towards the rear of the lot. It has a non-conforming deck on it that was grandfathered in prior to 2012, and that kind of sets the bar.
Okay,
Any questions?
thank you. Didn't want to call you back. Okay, any questions, of the commissioners?
Does it make a difference whether it's enclosed or not?
Enclosed or not?
If it were an open structure, no walls.
Okay, yes, it does make a difference, right. It's the structure that caused it to be not meeting the standards of the ordinance. It doesn't meet the 20-foot backyard setback. Yes, it's a non-conforming structure that, right.
Okay.
Is that clear as the mud? Okay. All right. The existing deck there is a non-conforming structure. Okay. Okay. And one of the things is you cannot make an existing non-conforming structure more non-conforming. All right. Double negative, I guess. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So on page 27 and 28, there are examples of enclosures. Does either of those make a difference? One is like a screened-in porch, and the other one looks like just an awning. Do either of those,
Okay.
does it make a difference?
My
the non-conforming?
understanding, and the applicant can speak to this, my understanding was that it was going to be an enclosure plus an awning, a retractable awning that would go over it. Okay? And our issue is the structure. Okay? That's what the variance is for, the structure. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Jones? Okay.
All right, any other questions for Pat? Okay. Thank you, sir.
You will.
Any comments or questions from the public? Yeah, well, I'm just waiting, I'm looking at them right now. And don't forget to, we know who you are, but make sure you state your name and address, please.
Y'all all know who I am now?
Yeah.
Gina Scamato, Stockstill. I live at 689 Oahu Street. Okay, so the last time we were here, we were trying to do a hard cover. Now we took that away. We went just a regular screened in with a awning coming out. The reason why we're asking for this, and I hope y'all do mercy, it's not our fault. Times change. 1980, we never had a cell phone that could track us. We never had elements we have now, or bugs or anything. We have a house that is sitting on the golf course. We get balls. We have other people's children. We have other people's pets. We're trying to protect our backyard so we don't hurt anybody else or they don't hurt us. So we're asking y'all to try to just help us out. What can we do? I left here the last time and I was some beat up. I never slept. So I went in and I begged, okay, what can we do? Just tell us what can we do? And that's what we're trying to do here. Whatever, I mean, we're trying to just cover the deck for safety.
Okay. Thank you, Gina. Mhm. All right, Ms. Penny?
All right, I'm back again also.
Penny,
Same
could you
problem.
Speak your name and your
Asking-
address, I'm sorry, for the
I'm
record.
Penny Crawford, 7922 Apaki Place. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny.
As everyone knows, the city zoning ordinances are in place to maintain the beauty, drainage, and property values in our community. Many of the restrictions were put in place years ago as Diamondhead was developed. People bought and built here because of zoning restrictions. I'm included in that. This type of variance to build an enclosed outdoor space that encroaches on predetermined setbacks set destructive precedents. Home and land buyers must acquaint themselves with these restrictions in advance. That way our established controls do their job. At least one of the longtime neighbors of this property is unable to attend this meeting. She contacted me about her concerns, and her letter will be read into the record. The petitioner's request to build a screen room, actually the construction of a structure within this close proximity to the 20-foot line, breaks the ordinances, is against our ordinance design. The idea that they want to put in a spa tub, a large spa tub, not a small hot tub, also adds another level of construction in that area, including drainage and sewerage and electricity. The retractable roof will be attached to the house, of course, to give it enough strength to support itself. If all that is needed is a retractable roof, a structure that does not follow the code is not necessary. The deck is already grandfathered in. There's already a deck in place that does not conform, but is grandfathered in. Just a canopy, or retractable canopy, would probably be okay. But that's not what's being requested at this point. What's being requested is a large screened-in room on the deck, which is a structure that is non-conforming. So I think that you need to vote against this request for a variance. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I do have some letters. There were two that were included in your packet.
Okay.
One, I believe two of them, one from a Mr. Jeff Bosarge that lives at 689 Oahu Street, that was in favor of that. Then a Mr. John Anderson that lives at 686 Oahu Street, that was also in full support of this. Those were included in your packet. There was one in opposition, Miss Marlene Johnson, excuse me. I do not have an address for her. I apologize. She did not include her address, but she was opposed to it. So those were all included in your packet for you to read. I'm getting there. I did receive two other letters after your packets were sent to you, and I'd like to read those into the record now.
Please do.
The first one is from a Miss Charlotte Crow. She lives at 6818 Oahu Court. It's addressed to myself, and it says, regarding the variance request from the residents at 689 Oahu Street about screening in the deck on the rear of their house, I have some concerns. This request does not give the square footage for this screened area. How wide is the deck? Is the deck in good condition, or does it need repair? The request says nothing about the kind of roof. Is the current roof going to be extended? I have been informed that they may have a retractable roof. The largest awning-type roof is 11 feet 6 inches, 138 inches, which would not cover the proposed area. Other types of retractable roofs require a superstructure which will carry the of weight of the roofing materials, the cabling needed, and the electric motors to extend and retract the roof. Also, there may be a spa in the screened area. In this request, nothing addresses perhaps the need for electrical connection, water access, drainage, or sewer for this spa. We who live on the golf courses have a 20-foot setback from the golf course for valid reasons. The best reason is so that we do not have golf balls pinging our house walls, breaking the windows, and denting the house walls. Without this setback, there would be numerous complaints about broken windows, doors, and holes in porch screens. With that screened deck protruding almost onto the golf course, the ambience that we have currently would not be there. The setback gives the golf courses a pleasing appearance that would be lost. We do not think that this variance request should be granted. I also received a letter delivered to me today from a Mary Craft at 682 Oahu Street. I am hereby on record stating that I am in favor of allowing the construction of a screened enclosure of an existing deck on the property belonging to Tim and Gina Stocksdale. Diamondhead is an amazing city, and I am an advocate of supporting upstanding citizens who have our community's best interest at heart. Gina and Tim are these people. Sincerely, Mary Craft. Those are the two I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any other comments from the public before we move on? Okay. All right, Pat, Mr. Rich.
Thanks for the exercise. Okay. As we know, we're asking for a variance of 15 feet 8 inches for this spa. Our facts are that the property is on the golf course and there are not any special conditions, hardships, or circumstances. The literal interpretation of the provisions of this title would not deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of this title. The setback requirement on the golf course is 20 feet. The conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions of the applicant, excuse me. The existing porch is a non-conforming structure which cannot be altered without being brought into compliance. Granting the variance requested will confer on the applicant special privileges that is denied by this title to other land, structures, or buildings in the same zoning district. The variance, if authorized, will not represent the minimum variance that will afford relief and will represent the least modification possible of the regulation in use. The variance does not observe the spirit of the ordinance, and it would change the character of the district. The variance would not observe the spirit of the comprehensive plan, and that the variance requested will result in any change or density of the subject property. Based on those findings, the staff recommends to deny the variance as petitioned. Questions?
Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Flowers? Okay. Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Rich.
Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the staff's report and recommendation. Gina? This is out of order, but I'll allow it.
I went to you and asked for you to help us find a resolution. I mean, what can we do? And you were gonna help us, and I sat there with you for an hour. I'm trying to ask, what can we do? Can we get some help here with this?
Well, you keep asking for an infringement on the rear setback, okay? I can appreciate your situation with your house position on the lot that the way it is. But the 20-foot yard setback is pretty sacred on the golf course, okay? I think why do you need the screen to be so big? Ooh, excuse me, so big.
You said 10 feet? Well, I got it measured on, I drew it out for everybody, 10 feet, I went 15 feet, I went 18 feet. 10 feet, you can't even put anything, a table, anything to walk around it. So 15 would be better. I mean, that's, we can go to 15, we don't have to go all the way to the 20.
Well, 15 still requires, let's see what, variance of 12 feet 8 inches, so you're talking about almost a 13-foot variance. We've never awarded anything like that on a golf course.
Okay.
Could
Can I ask Mr. Jones something? Can
Sure.
you have a hot tub without a screening?
Yes, I believe you can, depends upon the depth. I can't quote for sure as it relates to whether you have to have a barrier around that. I think you can, but I can't speak with certainty right now.
And can you build a pool in your front yard?
No, because it's a structure, pool is a structure.
Okay, all right. So if we, because the deck is, we on the 8th hole, it's horrible. It's embarrassing, so it needs to be remodeled, redone, you know, put back as a deck, being flat. So if I go into, and I put a hot tub on there, is that safe? I mean, everybody has a hot tub, so I'm asking for a safety concern. I mean, we could have everything pretty much other than the screen.
okay. Anything that you put back there would need to be inside the setback, okay? Now, for example, an in-ground pool could be put back there as long as it was 10 feet
The in-ground pool still has to meet the setback requirements.
of 20 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. My bad.
You may have potential there. I'm sorry to say, I just can't speak with certainty. It's possible. I'll say that. It's possible. So, let me look in the ordinance tomorrow.
Well, we're gonna have everything we want, we're just not gonna have a screen. I mean, that's just, it's not protecting everybody, that's the problem. We're trying to protect everybody. Deer will come to our deck and everything.
How deep is the pool, the swim spa that you?
4 foot 6 inches.
Deep? Okay.
Yeah, that swim spa is designed to go low or above. You can just set it right out there.
Okay.
It's all, it's plug and play, you put hose to it, you look, plug it into the wall.
But the depth of it is 4 feet. Because if that's the case, then it have to have a barrier. A barrier around it, a fence, a barrier, something to keep children, animals, etc. out. Yeah.
there any depth on that? No?
It's, even if it's above
Yes.
that.
Yeah, even if it's above. Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you just said there, so that would apply to anyone that has a golf course. Not just a golf course, I mean. Just say,
Yeah,
that would apply to everybody that has a golf course, not just a golf course.
yeah, exactly. Even little kiddie pools that you buy at Walmart is 24 inches in depth. The swimming pool ordinance or code book says you gotta have a barrier.
Okay. Why don't you meet with these guys afterwards? Moving forward, okay. Many of us have been to your house. You know, I have been to your house, looked at your situation. You are under an uncomfortable situation, and we empathize with it. But unfortunately, as I said earlier, we have to follow the ordinances, okay? Now, that doesn't mean city council can't rule in your favor, okay? But we are not elected officials. We don't have that authority, okay? So if you want to bring it to the city council, that's fine, okay? All right. Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion? I can't remember where we're at here. Do we have a motion? Okay. We need a motion to accept the staff recommendation. So moved. Do I need a second? We have a moved and second. Okay. Discussion? Commissioners? No? Okay. Well, you had the empathy of the chairman, nothing else, okay? It's not worth merit, but we try very hard to work with the citizens of the community, okay? We're trying our best, okay? We have limited in our authority, okay? All right. Seeing no further discussion, we'll call for a roll call vote. Ms. Tammy?
Commissioner Flowers? Aye. Commissioner Hector? Aye. Commissioner Horn? Commissioner Lael? Aye. Commissioner Culbertson? Commissioner DeVoe?
Aye.
Chairman Newbar?
Aye. Okay, as we recommended, you get with Mr. Jones and Mr. Rich and see if we can't work something out, okay? As well as, of course, you can always appeal to go directly to City Council, okay? And appeal our decision. Okay, is there any unfinished business before the commission? No? All right. Commissioners' comments? I would like to thank everyone for their patience tonight. It's been a long meeting, a long agenda, but I think it was worth the attention that we gave to the plan, and I appreciate all the commissioners' input and consideration. Okay, any communications or announcements from staff? Mr. Jones.
I'll make one brief comment, and really I would like authorization from the Planning Commission for a text amendment. Only the Planning Commission staff or City Council can initiate a text amendment.
A what?
A text amendment to the zoning ordinance. Okay, and what I'd like for you to consider is authorizing a text amendment to the R2 zoning district. Right now, they are at 8 feet. Let me just say, when we first started in the R2 zoning district, the side yard setbacks were 10 feet, just like in R1, they're 10 feet.
Correct.
Okay, and then things came along and
Last year we changed it.
Exactly, to 8 feet. Okay, sometimes hindsight may be 20/20, but we're seriously looking at a no net fill kind of policy, and where you can have less pervious surface on a lot, and as part of the no net fill policy that we want to bring forth in a text amendment is that you cannot have any field within the setbacks. And so right now in
Excuse me, Mr. Jones, could you say any fill?
Yes, any fill of dirt. Any fill, you can't have any fill of dirt. That's the road we're going down now. can't have any fill of dirt in the setbacks. And so,
If I may interrupt you just one more time, does that include when you're constructing the house? Because what's happened several times is that when they're building the land up to even it out for the building of the pouring of the slab, they raise the land, and that often, because of the raising of the geostratigraphy there, that the soil runs into that area. You're speaking of that as well?
yes, it could be an existing lot that has a house, and they want to bring in more fill. Well, it's the same
So
same
in a new
effect.
construction, so let me get this straight. So in a new construction, okay, even though the house foundation or slab may be within the 10-foot limit, okay, a setback, then that means also that the soil that they build around it would also have to be within that, so it may require a further 4-foot setback.
Well, there's two approaches here, and that they could have a raised elevation or a chain wall, and with that way they could still be, say, on the 8-foot line
Or the 10-foot line.
or the 10-foot line.
Right.
If you have a raised foundation or a slab on grade, not the typical slab on grade with a lot of dirt, and so anyway, if the planning commission could authorize such, we could go ahead and have a text amendment proposed to bring it back to 10 feet and have a public hearing at the next meeting, and then just see how it shakes out from
Okay,
there.
I think the commissioners are receptive to that.
Okay.
Any comments?
And so, if you don't mind, it'd be better to have a vote for that, so we can have that part of the minutes.
Okay,
That,
okay. So we'd like to have a motion to that effect. Accept as stated. Do you have it stated? Tammy, can you read it back to us? Or not? No? Mr. Attorney, Mr. Counsel.
So the motion from the motion from Ms. Flowers will be to hold a public hearing next month to consider whether to do a text amendment to move the side yard setback in the R2 district from 8 feet back to 10 feet.
Correct. Good.
That's
Okay.
the motion. You got that, Tammy? You got it. She's got it.
Good.
Does that give us enough time to advertise and do everything if we do it next month, or do we need to do it so for August?
no, we don't have time now.
So it'll be for August. It'll be the August meeting.
Wednesday, this coming Wednesday is the drop dead date for the first advertising. So it'll be August.
Okay. So, yeah, it'll have to be at the next meeting. We have some real tight deadlines in getting things advertised that we've got.
Oh,
So,
all right.
Yep.
That's fair, yes, yes. that's
Especially
right.
when we hold a public hearing, we've just
Right,
got to
we
make
have to have
sure
the
we give
advertising.
everybody opportunity to do it, especially when we're considering an amendment to the ordinance.
Right.
So
Okay.
it'll be so the motion will be to authorize a hearing on the August planning and zoning meeting to have that proposed text amendment.
The chair recognizes Mr. Rizzo.
Just to make an additional comment, obviously I was here when we recommended changing it from 10 to 8 in R2s to be more consistent with the Gulf Coast.
It was Mike's fault.
You can blame me. The main reason for that is we're talking about 4 feet of basically more concrete compared to dirt. So when we start talking about drainage, and we all watched 11 point something inches of rain fall on us last weekend. So we're talking about the idea of that gives a little bit more grass and dirt for water to be absorbed compared to having more slab. That's the bottom line, either having a 40-foot slab or a 36 or 38, I guess it would be. So that's kind of what we're talking about. The same thing when Ron talked about the no net fill policy. Part of the thing that's coming out and talking to the engineers is not letting that fill dirt get in to the existing easements so that we don't change the way that water's flowing. So that's all what being driven by this text amendment, just to give you some more background on it, and we'll see how it flows through a public hearing process. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Rizzo. Okay. So we need to have Commissioner Flowers, are you accepting a change to your amendment as read to us by the attorney?
I do.
Okay. Who would second it?
Second.
You accept that?
Yes,
Okay. And accepted. The amendment has been accepted by the Commissioner Flowers, who moved it, and by the second as well. So therefore, is there any further discussion on the motion? No? Okay. So we'll go for a roll call vote.
Chairman Dubois.
Aye.
Chairman Flowers. Aye. Commissioner, I'm sorry. Commissioner Hector. Aye. Commissioner Owens. Commissioner Lael.
Aye.
Commissioner Ferguson. Commissioner DeVoe.
Okay. Any other comments from staff or announcements? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Need a second?
I second it.
Meeting's adjourned. Oh, I gotta do all in favor.